I was there when it happened. I saw the girl waste away, caught between spirits and sickness. I begged them to stop, but they would not listen. And so, death came to Igbo Ukwu. Her name was Ada, and she was like a daughter to me. I watched her grow from a bright, laughing child into a young woman full of dreams. She was the kind of girl who could make even the griest old man smile with her mischief. She ran through the village barefoot, her laughter trailing behind her like the scent of ripe mangoes in the Harmattan breeze. But laughter does not stop the spirits when they come for you. The day they came for Ada, everything changed. It started with whispers in the night. Ada would wake up screaming, clutching at her chest as if something unseen had wrapped its fingers around her throat. Her mother, Mama Ifeoma, would rush to her bedside, stroking her hair, whispering prayers into her ear. "Shh, my child, the spirits will not harm you. Mama is here." But Ada's eyes would remain wide, her breath ragged, as though she had seen something beyond this world. At first, we thought it was just bad dreams. But then, the whispers followed her into the day. She would be in the market, picking plantains for her mother, when she would suddenly stop, her body frozen, her hands trembling. Her eyes would dart back and forth as if unseen figures surrounded her. Then she would drop the plantains and run. The other children began to avoid her. "Ada sees spirits," they whispered. "She speaks to the dead." And so, Ada became an outcast among her own people. When Mama Ifeoma grew desperate, she turned to the one place she thought could help: the church. The priest, a man who called himself Pastor Emmanuel, listened as Mama Ifeoma wept before him. "My daughter is cursed," she sobbed. "Please, man of God, save her." Pastor Emmanuel leaned forward, his dark eyes gleaming in the dim candlelight of the church. "This is no ordinary sickness, my daughter. This is the work of evil forces. The devil himself has marked your child." Ada, sitting beside her mother, shivered at his words. "But do not fear," the pastor continued, placing his hand on Ada's head. "For the Lord has given me the power to drive out demons. But first, faith must be tested." Mama Ifeoma clutched his robe. "What must we do?" The pastor leaned back, folding his hands. "You must bring all that you have to the Lord's house. The spirits are powerful, but faith is stronger. You must show the Lord your devotion, gold, money, food, anything of value, so that he may bless your child and cast out the darkness." Desperation drowned reason. Mama Ifeoma returned home and stripped her hut bare. She brought all the money she had saved, the gold bangles passed down from her mother, even the yams she had stored for the coming months. She laid them at the pastor's feet, believing, hoping that this sacrifice would save her child. Pastor Emmanuel smiled and gathered the offerings, promising a great healing ceremony. But Ada's sickness did not leave her. Instead, it grew worse. The day of the ceremony came. The entire village gathered at the church, drawn by the promise of a miracle. The air inside was thick with the scent of burning incense and sweat. The candles flickered, casting eerie shadows along the mud brick walls. Ada was made to kneel at the altar, her frail body trembling. Pastor Emmanuel raised his arms, his voice booming through the church. "This girl is possessed," he declared. "The spirits have taken root in her body, but with God's power, we shall drive them out." The congregation murmured in awe, their eyes wide with fear and reverence. Then the ritual began. A group of church elders surrounded Ada, chanting in deep, rhythmic voices. Pastor Emmanuel pressed his palm against her forehead and pushed hard. "Out, demon! Leave this child in the name of the Lord." Ada gasped, the pressure forcing her backward. "Speak, child," the pastor demanded. "Confess your sins, and the spirits will flee." Ada's lips trembled. I don't know what I did." "Lies," the pastor roared. "The spirits speak through you. Do you hear their voices?" Tears streamed down Ada's face. She wanted to say no, that she only heard her own thoughts. But fear gripped her, and she nodded weakly. The congregation gasped. "She admits it," Pastor Emmanuel declared. "She has allowed the spirits into her soul." Then came the holy water. Cold, bitter liquid splashed over Ada's face, soaking her clothes. She coughed and sputtered, her body shaking. The congregation clapped and cheered. "The spirits fight back," the pastor said with a smirk, "but we shall not stop." For hours, they prayed over her, beat drums, and forced her to drink blessed water mixed with bitter herbs. Ada grew weaker. Her breath came in short, painful gasps. By the time the ceremony ended, she could barely stand. Pastor Emmanuel turned to Mama Ifeoma. "She must stay in the Lord's house for 7 days, without food or water. Only then will the spirits leave her." Mama Ifeoma hesitated, but she had given all she had: her money, her trust, her faith. She could not turn back now. So Ada stayed. On the 3rd day, I visited the church in secret. Through the cracks in the wooden door, I saw her, lying on the floor, barely moving. Her lips were dry and cracked, her arms thin as twigs. I couldn't take it anymore. That night, I went to her uncle, the man from the city. Together, we planned to take Ada away, to find real help. But before we could act, the church doors were locked. Pastor Emmanuel had ordered that no one disturb the girl until the 7 days were complete. By the time they opened the doors again, Ada was gone. She had died alone on the cold church floor, her tiny body wrapped in the silence of the night. The village buried Ada the next morning. The priest stood over her grave, claiming she had fought the spirits and lost. But I knew the truth. We all did. She was not taken by spirits. She was taken by greed, by fear, by blind faith. Days later, whispers spread. Pastor Emmanuel had left the village with the wealth Mama Ifeoma had given him. The church was abandoned. The walls crumbled, overtaken by vines and silence. Mama Ifeoma was never the same. She left Igbo Ukwu, her face hollow, her voice lost. And I still sit by this fire, telling this story, hoping someone will listen, hoping that the next time fear takes hold of a mother's heart, she will not turn to those who sell false hope. She will not pray while her child wastes away. She will save them. There are many kinds of spirits in this world. Some live in the trees, whispering in the wind. Some haunt the rivers, waiting for lost souls. But the worst kind are the ones we create with our own fear. Ada was not taken by spirits. She was taken by lies. How many more must suffer before we learn? Subscribe to our channel for more chilling African folklore, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think happened to Ada? The spirits are always near, but are you ready to hear their story?